Hello, everybody, and welcome back for another commentary. Yes, I know, second in a row. But I didn't realize how soon I'd be doing my supposed marathon to 1,000 subs. I'm not going to be streaming until I reach 1,000 subs, unless it happens tonight. I'm not going to be doing an all-nighter and that kind of thing. I may do something like that for more later down the line. I'm just too busy right now to do like a super long stream. But it doesn't mean I'm not going to try. I'm still going to do like a fairly long stream tonight, and then I'll do another one tomorrow when I'm done moving stuff around. Because I said yesterday in yesterday's episode that I was actually going to move stuff, so I got to do that still tomorrow. So after that, I'll be back. But yeah, let's see if the number changes at all. If not, then no worries. I can just keep going. But world size, episode 408 as well, and the world size is 13 gigabytes, 244.39 megabytes. So let's make that a little bit bigger. Anyway, I will feel it a little bit all over the place. I think I've been a bit all over the place ever since I was like, well, it was just not even that long ago. I actually like checked YouTube and I was like, holy, because it's gone up so much. It's like up 50 in the last month. And making sure I'm in the right direction, first of all. But oh well, I feel so scatterbrained. But it is true. But I did see like the number, and I was like, holy, I gotta let Devin know to get his plans going. This was like a week, a while back as well, where I kind of noticed it was gonna be going in the next probably 2 weeks. And I was like, Devin, you're gonna want to get started on our plans. Me and Devin do have plans for the server. I don't know when we'll be doing them. I guess if I reach 1,000 pretty soon, it might even be this weekend. But those plans will be happening, I guess, sooner than I would have thought. And I sent Devin another message. I think this morning even. It might have been this morning or something like that. And he was like, "Holy." And I was like, you know what? Why don't I give you a hand? And I was on the server. Today was basically like a server day. Yeah, howdy, can't stay playing Phasmo. Good luck with 10,000. Have fun. Yeah, thank you, Devin. Speak of the devil. But no, yeah, it was a day on the server for me, and I've just logged off. I always love those days. 1,000 subs soon. I know. It went up to 995 and then it went back down. Someone had second thoughts. Usually that's what happens when you get around the milestones. Though people start to like psych you out, unless it's just somebody like subscribe and like, I don't really feel like it. Who knows? But yeah, I'm just gonna keep going and see how far I can get before I get too tired. Well, hello, sheepy. Oh, I don't even need your wool today. Maybe the next one. A few down the line. But here, let me. I had my music going today. I don't have. It's not extreme friendly. It's probably copyright, so I could probably work some kind of stuff out for actual music. But the Minecraft music comes in every once in a while anyway. No, but yeah, it was a good day on the server for me. It all started with getting book and quills for Devon. And I got like a ton of books stockpiled from when I went to the stronghold off camera. A lot of stuff happens off camera, but I just don't really bother to stream it. That I probably could have streamed, but today I just didn't stream any of it just because a lot of it was kind of grindy. And I don't really have people to talk to while I do like those streams. So I feel like if that were the case, it'd be better to do like the more grindy streams for Renewcraft. But I'm just trying to get as much of the stuff done as I can right now, and then I'll see where it goes from here. I did say last episode that I was considering a hiatus. Well, I was pretty confident about last episode, but I don't know. I'll just see where I'm at. I'll just if I feel the need to take a break from the server, then I will. But it was a good day today. I don't even remember how long I played the server. It must have been a while because I started playing pretty soon after I got home from school today or university, and I got a lot done. I can tell you guys. I'm sure hardly any of you guys know what the Renewcraft SMP is, but it is another series I've been doing for a little bit anyway. But what I've been up to on that is I just built a blaze farm today. I'm going to show that off in probably the next episode that I do on it fairly soon, assuming 1,000 subs soon. That's the plan for that, to show off all that and all the other stuff I did today. I did actually quite a bit of other stuff. I managed to get, I mean, that was probably the bulk of it. That farm took a while and I died a few times doing it. It was great. Definitely didn't regret my life choices while trying to build that farm. It was a double blaze farm as well, so I had to go out extra far for it in the nether. It was beautiful. But I do actually have like a highway and stuff. I did that, I think after the last stream, because I was gathering the blue ice, I think was the last thing I was doing. And then I just, in between streams, I was like, yeah, let's just get packed ice. A few thousand blue ice is a lot of blue ice. And yeah, it's very difficult to get a lot of. So yeah, I just did packed ice, and I don't really regret it. Packed ice is pretty good too. It's about like half as efficient, but it's pretty good. I might consider the I'm gonna drown here if I'm not careful, but yeah, I'm going to actually move my stuff around. Putting the pressure on. Okay, can I break this without drowning? Anyway, but yeah, that highway turned out really nice, and I realized I could save like 50% of what I was talking about in the episode by just doing only one side, and that is what I've done. Yeah, like 1 block ice highways are fine too. I used to do them like the 2 blocks, and I think it was mainly because my cousin Brody did them in the old uh, Newcraft, the original stuff, which I guess you guys wouldn't have seen either. Well, that's not even on the channel, so there's no excuse for that for that on my end, or on your guys' end, I guess. But it was good. It was good though. The highway turned out really nice, and the farm is decent enough for a bedrock farm. It can get some levels pretty good. I don't remember the last time I've had like an XP farm in Minecraft. Probably like a gold farm or that kind of thing. I had a gold farm in, I think, Sarber, which was the last bedrock server we had. I don't think I had much of a XP solution apart from like villagers or whatever since then. A lot of the worlds haven't lasted that long. And that was like back, 2023. Well, beginning of 2023, I mean, very beginning. That was kind of a fun world. The last bedrock world before this one that we're on now. Oh, but yeah, no, I've been a little bit all over the place ever since ever since I kind of was thinking about the 1,000 subs. I don't know why it makes me so like on edge. It's just, I guess it's a bit surreal, a bit crazy. I mean, I feel like that's with anything like this relating to the streaming. I've talked about it before about how I just didn't really expect to make it, not even I guess to make it this far, yeah, in the streaming, but also just to have this kind of attention. I know maybe to some it may not seem like a whole lot, but to me, I mean, in my whole like scale of it for myself, like as like a small creator, it's a bigger, much bigger than it may seem. And I mean, for like anybody just starting out from scratch like I did, it was interesting. I wasn't like jipping the system or anything, so it's interesting to have this kind of genuine following of some sorts. I've probably prattled on about this kind of stuff you know, plenty of occasions in Journey, but I figured it's pretty suitable given the case of 1,000 subscribers. Now, I don't expect to reach it during the episode here, but at least this is kind of my commentary recognizing that for Journey, at least. Like, and then if I don't have any other plans of people joining the next episode or the next marathon, I'll probably just do no commentary. This video might even go no commentary. We'll see how long I last on the commentary end. I could always go off on certain tangents and stuff that would last a while, I guess. There's always a possibility of that. It depends how deep I want to go into kind of the origins of everything. I could always do this as like an entry point for people who haven't seen a majority of the series up until this point, because there's quite a bit that I got up to, and maybe it's about time that I do like a proper like summary of some sort, you know, that kind of thing. A bit of a how I got here situation. I know I've talked about it from time to time over the past few years, but maybe it's good to consolidate and kind of put it all in one episode, and then from here I can just kind of vaguely reference it like I have been. And that's kind of what I intend to do, I think. That should hopefully fill up a good chunk of the commentary. But yeah, and then the other thing I did on the server before I go into all that crazy discussion of the channel is the breeder. Yes, I built the villager breeder as well today, and I was gonna do the curer, but I realized I needed slime, but I didn't have any, and I didn't know where any slime chunks were, so I was like, well, I'll just go to a swamp. Well, I actually messaged Devin first, but he's busy playing Phasmo, obviously, now that you guys have watched and heard from him that he was playing Phasmo tonight. So I went to the liberty of going to the swamp myself, out, an odd 5,000 blocks. Yeah, it's slime farms. I wouldn't hold my breath for those, unless it's some kind of, I guess through the nether it wouldn't be as bad, but like that's a long way in the overworld, 5,000 blocks, especially without an elytra or rockets or any of that. It is a huge distance. And I know it's a lot coming from me, someone who's been journeying millions of blocks. It's not a conventional thing to journey millions of blocks in a Minecraft world, okay? Let's get that straight. Allow me to straighten that out. That is anything but conventional. This thing, over the words I would describe this series, conventional is like one of the last on that list. I'd say the channel is anything but conventional as well. It's a very interesting channel history, I think. It's not like a super long one, I guess, or super like detailed or dramatic, but I still find it interesting enough that maybe people have questions about it. And this is probably your go-to episode for it. I might even put it on the main channel page as like just like a thing for people to go to. I'm going to try not to ramble too much about other topics, since I did that already in my last episode. I might allow myself to do that after I've done all the kind of background for the channel discussion. But anyway, I'll get on with it. The channel started, well, I created the YouTube channel in like 2016, and I didn't upload a darn thing, and I got, I think, like 1 subscriber around that time. I think it was because I think I commented on a video a long time ago. I'm not the kind of person that comments and interacts in threads and stuff. I'm a very kind of reserved person. So I mean, I know it's also coming a lot from me, because if you've seen a lot of my comments, I try to address it, as many of them as possible, but that's just out of courtesy. And honestly, I'm just really interested in responding to people and interacting with you guys. But no, I definitely was like, very reserved, and I still am very reserved. Oh, the water is glitching. But yeah, so I never really interacted with things very much. I liked videos, and I did leave the odd comment every once in a while. I think the first comment I actually left was a reply to someone who was trying to find a song. That was just funny. Um, but yeah, I only remember that because I actually saw like the reply to it like years later. I was like, oh, someone replied to me. Like I was like, I don't remember leaving a comment. And I actually looked at the comment. I was like, oh, interesting. That's from like years ago. But yeah, I never really got into the whole YouTube thing. I wasn't too into the idea actually for the most part. Even leading up to when I started streaming, it was only more of a food for thought thing. I'd wanted to stream like my servers for a while. That was really my main excuse that I was trying to use, but I just didn't really have the know-how to do it, like the streaming know-how. I wouldn't really say I have much more of it now, to be honest, but I've got enough of it to, run a stream at least and keep a commentary interesting enough. But back then, yeah, that wasn't really on my mind. I was more so just enjoying the Minecraft worlds rather than streaming them, which fair enough. And a lot of them were kind of scatterbrained as well. I'm not going to go into the worlds in detail because I think I have an actual episode dedicated to that. I think it's the new craft episode in brackets. So if you want to know more about the SMPs and stuff, it's in that one. I think it should be more comprehensive there. But I'm going over just the channel in general, so I'm just going to loosely cover that, the server stuff, because that's what the foundation of the channel was. In case anyone's curious, it was not Journey. The Journey was kind of the bread and butter, yeah, the thing that everyone came back to and watched. But the original thing for me was actually the A side, or whatever you would call it, is actually the SMPs. And that's why I still do it to these days, because I just find it so neat being able to archive the servers and be able to look back on it. That's more why I do that. And I think I mentioned that even like last episode, or the other episode anyway. But yeah, I was really into the servers. I've always been into servers for as long as I can remember, like Minecraft servers specifically. But I mean, just like that, like SMP kind of thing, survival multiplayer. It was always a really cool topic to me, and I'm glad I actually did get. I've gotten a few chances at running them myself, and well, they're nothing far cry from what you'd see on like YouTube or whatever. They're you make it your own. It's not you don't have to follow a cookie cutter kind of template or whatever. You make it what you want it to be, and I find if you can have enough heart and enough motivation, well, motivation's usually a result if you have good people that play on it enough and you get along and have good chemistry, that kind of thing. Then it kind of speaks for itself. And I found that to be true with a lot of things. And one of my earliest revelations with the worlds was kind of the organic nature behind it. Like just my best performing stuff was the stuff I never anticipated doing well, or the stuff that I just went in with like just genuine enjoyment and didn't really give a damn about. Well, I gave a damn about it, but I didn't really give it. I wasn't taking it very seriously. I was more just having fun with it, kind of thing. And I mentioned that with the servers because that's kind of a bit of some reasoning into the Journey. I'll get around to Journey. Journey is a big part of the channel, of course, as you would know. Just by looking at it, my profile picture, my channel banner, my longest series of 408 episodes, plus all the extra bits and pieces. But the servers is kind of we're a bit of my love. I mean, that's where a lot of my love for Minecraft is these days. But there's also a good deal of love for Journey as well in a different way. So yeah, that was kind of my initial start for streaming. It was a bit rough. I mean, you could argue it is still a little bit rough. I don't got the greatest mic. I don't. I find there's still drop frames. It's not actually that bad today, but sometimes the drop frames tend to be pretty severe. They used to be good, but I don't know what happened. I've got good internet. I think it's just the server I'm connected to through Twitch. But some weird connection related issue on the server end and not my own end, it seems. But yeah, there's still, some wrinkles, but there used to be a lot more. I'm very happy with where things have gone now. And a lot of people actually, I've gotten comments about it recently as well, about the mic and stuff. People being like, it's an okay but not great mic kind of thing. And I noticed that kind of thing became very like a very hot topic of discussion in Better Than Adventure, when some people were even criticizing the mic quality, and I did change it at that point. It is different to before that, but a lot of people actually preferred it, because one thing I didn't quite realize would be a bit of a proxy, or kind of a buy as a result of having the low quality mic. And well, it's not low quality, it's just not like a studio or streaming mic or whatever you'd call it. It's just my headset mic, and it's not even an old headset or anything either. I have my other headset and it sounds way worse. Anyway, you probably heard it in the old videos. That was that one. Very crisp. That's what me and Cherry called it, the crisp mic. But I don't even know where I friggin' left off. I was just went off about the mic, but things have changed quality wise, of course, and the mic is certainly something. And I think the old Minecraft and just the type of commentary I do really lends itself to this almost nostalgic kind of thing. I don't know if that's how you guys see it, but that's what I've kind of gathered from some of the comments I've seen. It seems like a lot of people just find solace in this series, and it's not through any purposeful effect of mine. I didn't go into this intending for it to be this kind of like old retro inspired thing. It was just Farlands. I wanted to go to the Farlands. I'll cover Journey to the Farlands. Like I said, I can talk about that for a long time and all the intricacies of that. But yeah, it just kind of ended up being like that, where the channel just kind of appeals in that sort of sense. Appeals to that in that way. That's just this kind of nostalgic vessel, I guess, for like the early 2010s or whatever, which is a period of Minecraft I actually wasn't really all that active for, funnily enough. Whereas maybe a lot of you guys get like, well, someone said like they were watching Yogg's cast, and this kind of seemed along the same, or it felt along the same lines, which is funny. I have seen Yogg's cast, and that is an interesting comparison for sure. But it does, aside from like some of the more modern, I guess, discussion, a lot of it feels a bit dated though, doesn't it? I guess. Like I said, it's of no purposeful intent. It's just kind of an accidental thing, and it seems to have captured a lot of people's interest that way. Just something I've noticed as a side note. But yeah, the streaming began with the servers, and then the real kind of, well, I say the real thing. Is it on? I'll turn shuffle on. It was just playing like a bunch of the same songs. Anywho, where was I leaving off? Oh yes, Journey. I was gonna go right into Journey. A lot of people, looking at Journey now, see it as this like, pinnacle of this channel and this kind of thing of it, like how could it ever, fail or that kind of thing. And in a lot of, I guess in that sense, it's something that I don't really see like ending for me. Like I'm gonna always have it be a part of my life to some capacity, even if it is very minimal in the future. I'm just it's become such a phenomena to me, and I'm sure to a lot of you guys who've seen the videos. I've seen the views and stuff. Every once in a while they spike quite a bit, and that always surprises me. But the early days of Journey, I've remarked on that as well. They were a lot different to how it is now. Of course, the recipe, the secret sauce for Journey has never changed. It's always just been a task of walking to the Farlands in beta 1.7.3, as it were. But I initially never thought, along the same lines of what I said before, where I never really thought the channel would reach these heights. Uh, I never really thought I would reach these heights in Journey as well. I thought Journey would have been kind of a passing glance because I was so used to everything I was doing at the time being just a blip, nothing really important, nothing meaningful. Um, and I did have like Newcraft, but that was kind of only good and around for so long. It always kind of came to an end, and Journey, I'm sure, will eventually reach its natural conclusion. But um, I thought that would have been, would have been cut off much sooner. I would have lost interest and moved on to the next thing, which may sound like a surprise, maybe a bit of a surprise actually to some of you. But I had doubts about this, and I figured because I don't know. It must have just been just because of everything I was doing at the time, just not really being all that good. And I know even since then, I've had some interesting trials with other things, especially the servers as well. They've also been a challenge. But Journey was actually quite the opposite. It was not a challenge. It was, well, it's a challenge, a bit of a challenge of dedication or whatever, but I felt like after a while it became very natural, very second nature. And I'm sure that's very evident in a lot of the episodes. I don't know. I'm speaking a lot like that today, of like, oh yeah, you guys might be able to see that kind of thing. I'm just, I just feel like being a bit reflective that way and kind of expressing some stuff maybe I've heard from you guys, or kind of trying to paint a bit of a picture. But yeah, the original bits of Journey were, I mean, not all that different to how it is now, except I wasn't streaming it in the beginning. Oh, the amount of times. I've talked that to death. The whole first 2 months, the first 100 days, I'll never live that down. I don't actually have anything really negative about it. Actually, I don't think about it very negatively, in fact. You'd think I'd be like, oh, so regretful, kind of, but I'm not. Because back then, I didn't see Journey as something that I wanted to stream and put out there, because I knew that many other people had attempted it, and what would really my mark be? What would I really bring to the table that's any different to what the other people who have gone to the Farlands? What would really be the difference in that? And I just didn't really think it'd be any interesting as like a series, especially. Well, this is also coming from a time where I was only doing the servers and I hadn't had any ulterior series before, so it was really a bit of a shot in the dark actually. And for the longest time, it was a very quiet series. Uh, Views kind of came and went, and the subscriber count was, well, to say it crawled along is an understatement. It was very slow, and I wasn't any at all concerned about it. I've never been. That's always kind of secondary for me. Primary for me is the enjoyment. That's my main philosophy with the streaming and stuff. Is if I'm enjoying it, then people will find it, and people will, realize, it'll find its audience if it has an audience, and if not, then it might just be time to do it on my own and not have it be a part of the channel. That kind of thing. So Journey was just one of those things that I was just doing it, and I got the rare comment, or the rare person coming into chat, or that kind of thing. And I find even now Twitch is a bit hit or miss for the streaming. Sometimes I get like a few people, and then sometimes I just get nothing, like for weeks or months on end. But it's all just luck of the draw, kind of. I suppose. I think a lot of people also there's all this like catchy modern stuff and very flashy editing and stuff, and I kind of joked about that back when I was starting to test out the editing waters a little bit in some of my other series that I was doing at the time last year. But or the year before, I guess, now 2 years ago. Holy mackerel, because it's 2025 now. So back in 2023, I was testing the waters with the editing. But I guess this series being just like basically like a series of walking, you'd think not much of it. And that's kind of how I viewed it in the beginning. And that's why I didn't really want to stream it. And then I did get around to streaming it, but it was only the commentary portion because I was like, well, people will want to watch me talk and they don't want to watch a no commentary kind of thing. But then I realized there was a bit of an audience for no commentary, and then Fig commented a while after I had done my first episode on my first stream. Fig and Bad Fellowship on Twitter, Figonomics, Figonometry, whomever he went to the corner Farlands, and I think he's done some other cool stuff. I've been staying in tune with the Twitter and seeing the posts and stuff on the game development stuff. Very interesting. But he commented on my channel, and we've kind of talked a few times since then. Passing through like Twitch chats or whatever. But that's what really influenced me into doing no commentary, which is also a big part of the series. And a lot of people probably have poke issue with that, with the fact that there's no commentary, but it's simply just because sometimes the walking writes checks that my mouth can't cash, kind of thing. I want to walk in the world, but I don't got anything to talk about. It's that kind of thing. If I only streamed when I was really able to do commentary, I would not be nearly as far right now. I will tell you that. Because I've seen, my natural rate, which is usually actually about once a week, maybe a few times a week if I'm lucky for commentary. So it would have been a lot different had I only done commentary and no commentary portions at all. But for me, I can't really imagine, having streamed leaving Spawn, kind of that kind of stuff. I did do a bunch of that in before Journey of the Farlands, like a year after the original departure of Spawn. I did like what I was, that's what you see at the beginning of the playlist is before Journey of the Farlands, which is kind of my trying to account for the discrepancy, but I kind of lost interest in that pretty soon thereafter because it was just derailing too much from the actual journey itself. I figure if I do something like that, I might as well just do it after journeys, kind of after the main journey's concluded and I'm doing stuff at the Farlands, just to relive a bit of the glory days, glory days. Pretty much those days I walked back in the beginning are basic. Well, apart from like how I felt like that nostalgia, it was basically the same as it is now. It was walking. Go figure. But there was some stuff that you guys never really will get to see if I don't do that in the future, which was a lot of the landmarks that I had found, which there's a lot of similar stuff. I see it, in every episode now. But some of the more notable things from the first kind of 100 days of the journey was some of my initial stuff at Spawn. Oh, that was so much fun. I wish I could have streamed my original commentary. That's one thing I regret. I regret not having streamed Spawn Departure. I did actually stream it, but I streamed it to the Discord. Or I think it was the Newcraft or whatever it was at the time, Java. I don't even remember which one it was. 2022. That actually might have been Newcraft. No, it definitely was. Yeah, because Journey started when Newcraft. Yeah, because that was soon after I'd started streaming in July, the end of July, and that's when we reset for Newcraft 3. Right. So yeah, it was Newcraft, that Discord that I was streaming to when I left Spawn, and I don't think anyone actually watched it. I think Devin was busy or doing something at the time, and I just left Spawn because I just felt like it at that point. So no one actually got to see the departure from Spawn, at least the original one, since myself, my eyes have seen that part of the journey and no one else, kind of thing. And for, I guess, a good while, even going through the first 12 episodes of the main series, there's no commentary gaps between that. And I think I have it in the actual episode descriptions now. I added it since then, that there's discrepancy between the coordinates, because I started doing that blocks covered thing way later. Well, not wait. Actually, I don't remember when I started doing it. It must have been when I started doing the no commentary around that time. A lot of that kind of archival stuff started around that point. The notebook was always since like day one. I talk about the notebook, which is the thing I write all my progress in. And I just like write like the blocks I was at the beginning of the day and the blocks I was at the end of the day. And sometimes I would screw up and I'd have to like go back, walk back to the beginning kind of thing. But now I have my mini map mod, so I can actually see the coordinates in the stream playback. So I don't even have to worry about it anymore. About like missing the coordinates or whatever, because they'll always be there. You guys can always see them. Which is a bit of an interesting thing. I know some people, like I know Kurt does like an F3 press or whatever every once in a while. Well, every once in a while I say it's like, I think usually every like few years. Like it's not very often at all. It's a very highly awaited thing, or maybe it's even just in his Flobathon. I don't watch much Kurt. I watched like the first 100 or so episodes back in the beginning of my journey, and then I kind of slowed down since. And I also watched like the first 100 or so episodes of Tinfoil Chef's journey, which, how could I mention the beginning of Journey without mentioning Tinfoil Chef? In case you guys don't know, Tinfoil Chef was a member of Hermitcraft, most notably, and also did a journey to the Farlands himself. That was the original actual like motivation, the drive for me to do this at all, this journey. Was a Tinfoil Chef, and that's kind of the namesake of the series. The journey to the Farlands came from him, and I'm sure other people have just named their series Journey to the Farlands because it's very befitting. I think I said recently that I probably would have named it Journey to the Farlands anyway, or Adventures to the Farlands or something along those lines. I think that was actually what my original name was, and then I was like, why not just embrace the Tinfoil Chef? Especially after he passed away. So suddenly, and I just wanted to do a bit of it was, the world served as a tribute, and I still want to build some kind of monument to Tinfoil Chef later in the journey, just to commemorate his journey and his troubles. I've watched a lot of his episodes and his Hermitcraft and stuff, and he's talked a lot about. Oh yeah, I'm just walking in the dead of the night right now. But he's talked a lot about his like health troubles, or he did talk a lot about his health troubles and stuff. And I just want to, have some tribute to him in this world. And the initial sign I placed, I don't remember if it was inspired by Tinfoil Chef's journey or whatever. I don't know what the sign said. I forget it now. I still have the screenshot, so I could go back and take a look. But back at spawn, I did that, and the spawn outpost was basically me doing what Tinfoil Chef did at spawn, because I didn't really know how to journey myself. How to you just walk from point A to point B, but I was trying to figure out the means of which to do so. And the hidey hole came about through, I guess, Kurt J. Mack, which I'm sure influenced TFC to do the hidey holes and the hidey poles and stuff. That's all kind of from around that time. They both started in the same year, 2011, because Tinfoil Chef's journey was inspired by Kurt J. Mack, a Minecraft member and a very prominent YouTuber for his status as a Farland journeyer. But so I guess that's like the inspiration of the inspiration, I guess, for me. It may not have been like a direct inspiration from the beginning, but I very quickly got into Kurt through watching Tinfoil Chef talk about Kurt, and then I got into Doctor Who from watching Kurt talk about Doctor Who. Anyway, I'm kind of going off on tangents and mini tangents and things. I talked about kind of the trials of what I was doing for Journey. I won't go over like the 1.12 mod pack I played, what that was like beta, and all the kind of troubles of getting around to this world and all that jazz. And God, to even begin with the technical difficulties I've had, there was the jitters, which I have since removed because it's just, I don't like them. I know it's a very kind of novel thing to the journey. It's floating point precision error, if anyone's curious. If you want to look it up for Journey, or for Journey, for the Farlands in general, like going out far enough from spawn. It's a thing that happens, and I've patched it out, and my game looks normal as a result. So yeah, that's another thing. But yeah, technical bugs are one thing. Recently, last year, I had a power surge which corrupted this world, and funnily enough, the world survived. But I think a lot of the chunks were actually corrupted as a result, and my inventory had like 111 sand. I remember that because the episode was called 111 sand after power surge anyway. Because the original episode ended with a power surge, and then the next one I started, I was like, geez, I have 111 sand. What's the deal with that? That was quite the episode, because it was a lot of discovery. Like half of my inventory was gone. My sand had merged together somehow into 111 sand, and yeah, that was a weird time for the journey because my statistics and my world size and my day count was all reset, and I just kept going. I probably did have a backup around that time, but I figured the world's still here, it's still I don't need to go back, revert to a backup or anything. Speaking of which, I haven't actually backed up this world in quite some time. It's a very big world. It's hard to back up a world of this size. It's actually a lot bigger than that 13 gigabytes that I said initially. And if it accounted for season 1's world size, it would be way bigger. Like almost double the size it is right now, I'm sure. Because that's double, probably well over double the amount of walking from before season 2 started. Both seasons are of the same journey, by the way. I've mentioned that numerous times, but I figured if I'm doing a kind of a summary of the journey up until now, and all the channel up until now, I might as well say that Journey seasons 1 and 2 are the same world, well, per se, quote unquote. If you're really curious, you can comment about it, and I'll let you know what I mean by that. I've talked about it in other episodes too, but if you want to know more specifics without having to skim through my episodes, then yeah, post a comment about it. Yeah, a lot of technical stuff relating to this world. And streaming in general. I think a majority of my early streams, well, all of them were streamed in 30 FPS. And I think now it is actually in 60 FPS. I don't remember if I shifted it back to 30 due to connection issues. Because I remember like the episode, I think it was called Buttery Smooth, because that was the first episode that went into 60 FPS. But I don't know if it is 60 FPS anymore. But it is a stark difference. It looks so nice. So it's too bad if it's not around anymore, but that was a thing at one point. And I can't talk about technical difficulties without talking about last year. Well, of course, the power surge, but also I found my spawn a second time. Can you believe that, guys? It is a beta bug. Well, I don't know if it's probably not beta exclusive, but it's an old Minecraft bug, I'll say, where your spawn chunks would repeat every 512,000 blocks or whatever. It's an exact power of 2 relative to that. I don't remember the exact number off the top of my head. But yeah, I actually did find my spawn coordinates again, which was a little bit weird. I might even find them again since I'm going to the corner. I'm usually just too friggin' desynced out of my coordinates. So that's probably why I have not seen them up until that point. And for a lot of the early journey, actually, I was resyncing my coordinates. I don't know if that much of that was captured in the original episodes, but I guess that's another little ramble topic, was the decision to go to the corner Farlands. I know a lot of people are like, why are you going to the corner? And my reason is just because the corner is just friggin' cool. It's cool to see 2 Farlands go together, and you get to see a whole different set of the Farlands, which is called the corner Farlands, everybody. It's different to both the edges. So I can't wait to explore that and seeing what the Farlands are like in my world. But, the decision was just purely because I heard of Fig doing it, going to the corner, and I was just like, if I can go to the corner, and it may take more time, But it's gonna be so cool because I'll have two sets of Farlands and I can build my base and I can take a screenshot and it'll just be surrounded by Farlands. That's just surreal, you know? I mean, you could technically get the same effect if you were just to do it against the edge. But I just figured if I'm gonna go through all the trouble to go to the edge Farlands, why not just go to the corner? And you could argue that walking diagonally is slower. I think it might be. I'm not quite sure. I said to someone that it might not be by much, but I have no proof of that. So any of you directional, like Minecraft experts. I mean, I'm a bit of a Minecraft. I'm a veteran. I'm not a Minecraft expert. I'm good at building. I'm good at adventure. I'm a bit of a weak survivalist though, and I'm not very good with the technical stuff. I've been slowly improving over the years though. But if any of you guys are like actually would know if walking diagonally like this, I mean, technically you are walking more blocks since I'm doing a zigzag instead of a straight line. But I don't know, the zigzag is just much more natural to me than the straight line now. Technically I'm still going in a straight line. It's just the straight line's been adjusted. But yeah, my actual path in the world is more zigzagged anyway. It is interesting to reflect on my 250,000 blocks that I walked just to the normal Farlands, like in a straight line, because that caused a bit of a ripple in the actual journey itself. It caused this huge domino effect of trying to get my coordinates resynced. And resyncing 250k is no small task, everybody. That's a lot of blocks to walk just to resync the coordinates. So I think I lagged behind around that time. But I still, that was still peak journey progress. I still managed to pull it together. I should probably make more boats as well pretty soon. I'll swim across this one channel here and then I'll make more boats for whatever I go into other ones. But, yeah. I don't remember what I was talking about. I keep throwing myself off. But I was talking about the directional walking, yeah. I've been going, this direction ever since then, which was like 2022, soon after the journey started. Like, it was like, I think 2 weeks in or whatever that I changed my mind, and I was already 250k in. Imagine if I maintained that progress, it probably would actually be at the Farlands by now. But yeah, no, progress is only, it comes and goes, it ebbs and flows. Hey, rhyming. But yeah, it was just lightning in a bottle at that beginning. Like I won't even like dispute that because I used to think like back then or going out of that early days of Journey, it was because I was walking in a straight line. It was great, and then I actually did an experiment, multiple experiments, walking in the different directions, and I realized that it's not as big of a difference as I'd like to have admitted. It was mainly because I was just spending an exorbitant amount of time on the daily walking to the Farlands back then, just because of how fun it was, how novel of an idea it was. And I still do that kind of thing now, but it's not to the same effect. It really isn't. Although I'd argue that last year was just great for the journey. It was a wonderful time. Some of the greatest fun I've had in this series I had last year. I'll be honest, it was a really good year for Journey. My favorite and probably best outpost, Ophanim, was last year, which is a ring outpost. Oh yeah, the outposts as well. I should talk about the outposts too if I'm doing kind of a comprehensive, kind of, in case you missed it kind of episode. Kind of like TLDR, I can't watch 400 minimum hour average episodes, which I'd say fair to that. I'd say fair. I could not probably stomach this many episodes at this point. It's purely just because I'm trying to go to the Farlands. That's why it's gone on this long. But yeah, that's crazy though. You think I'm lying, but you look through the playlist yourself and you see how many friggin' episodes there are. And there's episodes that are like 8 hours, 11 hours, some of them. It's just an insane task, an insane feat going to the Farlands. High praise to anybody who's actually made the full journey themselves. Even attempting this is crazy enough, being willing enough to attempt a journey. Actually making it out far enough like I have as well is also something. I won't discount myself. You know, for every every feather, I gotta put some feathers in my cap, kind of thing. Yeah, I don't know where I left off. I was talking about the direction changes. I guess I could talk about the outposts now. Outpost 1, or the spawn outpost, I should say, was, like I said, inspired by Tinfoil Chef's mine shaft he did with, like, the ladder going down. That's Tinfoil Chef inspired. I probably talked about it in before Journey to the Farlands. Depends if you guys watching in the future, if that is still around. I might do a replacement after the Farlands. We'll see. But there's not really any plans for it right now. A replacement for that, because I want to get to the Farlands first before I even think about accounting for the discrepancy. Or I just don't worry about it at all, which is another thing I could do. But at any rate, I should talk about the outposts. Oh, my wood is on the floor, in the water, soaked, bogged down, and warped, as it were, as what happens with wood. But yeah, my outpost, like I said, the small one was based on Tinfoil Chef in his beginning, and I even based my inventory off of that. I think I even showed it in Before Journey to the Farlands too. Perhaps. I remember at least doing something along those lines, so it's probably mentioned. But I took like a screenshot of his inventory when he left spawn, and I basically had my inventory the same way. Bean, yes. Yes, hello. I've just been prattling on for the better part of the last hour about a bit of streaming history and journey history for those who maybe can't stomach 400 plus videos, well, over 500 videos on Journey. Bit of catch up, if you will. And I'll probably do it again closer to the Farlands, I'm sure. Probably do a similar thing like I'm doing now with them. For if I get another influx of people around the Farlands. But yeah. Or was I left off? Where was I left off? Where was I last at? The outposts. So yeah, spawn was a mine shaft down to diamond level. Could only stop by. I have to do research. Well, you do your research. You do it. Bye-bye. Yes. Thanks for stopping by. Me with the rhyming. Well, that wasn't even a rhyme. That was just like, well, I guess it does rhyme, but it's a very similar word. Just a different form of it. I'm already getting tired. Oh boy. But I left off at the outpost. The outpost, my favorite. Outpost 1 was New Year's 2022. Well, it was actually 2023. Technically. New Year, new outpost. That's what the joke was for that. And that outpost was that's up there. That's probably my favorite location for an outpost I've ever had. It was just so cool. I feel like I couldn't do it justice in the time that I allotted for it, the 5 days. That's not very much, especially considering I wasn't doing it like playing the game like a crazy amount in that time. So I wasn't able to do as much as I maybe wanted to, but I got a good deal done. I built a nice log cabin and I had my greenhouse and stuff. That was a nice build. I like using the outpost as a bit of an excuse for building experimentation. That's what you'll find, like, especially the further I go, the more I experiment. Outpost 2 was a small thing because I was angry about dying so soon after Outpost 1 and getting all those diamonds. I was so mad about dying. A Fiery Doom, I think is what the episode was called. That was like my first death in the world. At least the first proper one. I might have died at spawn. I think I fell into my mine shaft. But apart from that, the main death on the actual journey was the first one was that one. What else? Yeah, Outpost 2 is smaller. There's not really as much to say. It's all in one episode if you do want to see it. And I did edit out all of the grindy bits of mining, which I usually don't do. And I kind of am like kicking myself for editing out all the mining because that's like archive footage that's gone. No, I'm just kidding. That's why I don't like to edit journeys, because everything in this journey kind of needs to be preserved in one way or another, regardless of how it affects the series and performance and whatnot. People be like, oh, I don't want to watch 5 hours of mining. Well, I have to do 5 hours of mining, so you're gonna get 5 hours of mining. That kind of thing. So yeah, that was around the time where I was experimenting with editing Journey a bit. Entertaining, that kind of thing. Getting rid of all the boring bits. But at that rate, if I was doing that, then I might as well just not have no commentary at all. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, but you see what I mean, though. It could like extend out to a lot of other things, so the logic was a bit flawed. So that's why I just keep the mining in these days, and I just do like one mining stream that everyone can skip if they would like, instead of like doing mining intermittently like I used to do throughout the episodes. But Outpost 2 was something, it was in one day, Uno. Anyway, Outpost, spawn is referred to as Origin, of course. I kept O's for all of like the main points, like Ophinum, and then Ophinum was my most recent, which was at 50% of the journey. Back when. And Origin was spawn, and Oblivion is the Farlands, by the way. It wasn't really originally meant to be that way, and the grammar didn't really work in that way's favor of it being like just walking endlessly, arbitrarily. Devin actually thought that I meant the Farlands by Oblivion, but I don't mean the Farlands directly. I'm more so just like, you guys may just think I'm walking forever to nothing and arbitrarily just being a madman like I am, kind of going into Oblivion or walking into Oblivion. But I called the episode Walking to Oblivion, which actually works out better now that I am calling the Farland base Oblivion, and it's all just been one big joke, and that's why I've been putting in my stream description Walking to Oblivion. Well, today it's a different stream notification, but usually if I stream Journey, it's Walking to Oblivion. But yeah, that was that Outpost, or the Outpost 2 Uno, and then Outpost 3 I did at the 1 year anniversary. I usually do outposts in twos, you'll find. Like outposts 1 and 2 are within a month of each other. Outposts 3 and 4 are within a few months of each other. And then Outpost 5 is just kind of on its own because of how crazy it is. It kind of makes up for a few outposts, to be honest. I'm sure the next one will make up for a few as well. The outposts are just getting crazier and crazier. That's not going to keep up. I'm not keeping up this trend of crazy outposts, or am I? Who knows? If it's a once-a-year occasion, I might as well, but we'll see. It might become more frequent, though, if I decide to make more progress. Anyway. Outpost 3 is known as Herobrine's Tower, which you can probably guess what it's referring to. The mythological creature. No, I'm just kidding. The urban legend, the creepypasta of Minecraft, Herobrine himself. I've done like 2 Halloweens, or 1 Halloween special, which had, or one of my episodes was called Journey to Herobrine, and then I did a little Halloween special with a Herobrine texture pack. So, I'm a bit of a fan of Herobrine, and I had my profile picture on Discord as the Herobrine seed for who knows how long, up until when I actually changed it to something more recent. But it was a good few years. I like Herobrine. I think it's kind of a cool thing. Always did. Always did. But yeah, Herobrine's Tower was pretty cool. It was kind of using some abstract blocks. I used, I think, sandstone and purple wool or something for the roof, which is just such a weird thing. Such a weird like combination of blocks. And that was when I was actually doing the first, I think that was my first and only textured build in beta Minecraft, where I was texturing the stone and cobblestone together. I don't know if I was integrating the gravel into it quite yet. I think that was more so the path, but the original plan for Outpost 3 was to be a fishbowl wizard tower. So I was going to build a fishbowl around that, a huge glass dome bowl. And I just ran out of time, and I was like, I'll do a fishbowl later, maybe. I might even do some kind of aquatic outpost, because I've done like the air outpost now with Ophanim, with the rings and stuff. So who knows, maybe I could do some kind of ocean outpost. Another idea I've had was a subterranean one, like a cave-based one, which would be cool. I've not done a cave base in Journey yet, so there's an idea. Apart from like my mining outposts, which they're just a hidey pole with some trapdoors going down into a mine. That happens occasionally too when I lose all my diamonds and I don't want to do an outpost. And that actually happened the last time I ran out of diamonds. That's why I have so many now. And it's been like so long since the last outpost. That's why. But Outpost 4 now we're on was... Oh yeah, Outpost 3 was cool because it also had the Herobrine summoning thing. It didn't work, by the way. I'm just kidding, I know that. But yeah, I actually built it block for block and everything. It was funny. And yeah, it didn't summon Herobrine into my world, but it made for a pretty cool outpost. Oh yeah, Outpost 4 was the Citadel. It was a castle. I was actually going to build like a whole medieval village around the castle, which would have been really cool. I would have loved to continue that build. That's one I would have, probably the one out of all the outposts I've done so far, that's probably the one I would have loved to have continued. Because, yeah, I would have loved to have built some, like, Tudor style builds. I've not done much Tudor in beta, actually. If I were to do, like, a beta SMP or that kind of thing, I'd definitely do something like Tudor, you know, something along those lines. I really like how old Minecraft works with medieval kind of builds. Tudor, medieval, that kind of thing. The Middle Ages, all that kind of style stuff, like windmills and cathedrals and all that jazz. Oh, that's so good. I have not had nearly enough fun with that in beta. Modern Minecraft, yeah, but yeah, not old Minecraft. Well, I say that for modern Minecraft, but I haven't really managed to build like proper areas in modern Minecraft yet. Bucket list, everybody. But yeah, Outpost 4 was pretty good. It was a very just wacky looking castle that I grabbed from, it was based on a castle from the Golden Age subreddit, from like some post. It wasn't like, you know, super exact. I think the taller it got, the more exact it was. I just liked how it looked. I really did. I just thought it looked really cool and I wanted it in Journey. So I did put it in Journey and used netherrack for the roof and redstone torches, which is just so cool. I love that. You know, never would have thought of that on my own playing of the game, of like using netherrack. That's the kind of cool stuff with building, is you can use like the most unconventional blocks and make it work. You can. It's one of the great things about building, and I love to do that in my own builds. I wish I actually did it more in survival. I just find you tend to play it safe when you're building things, especially in a server. But no, I love experimentation. I always try new things in building. That's probably why I'm not really particularly good at any. Well, I kind of just am evened out kind of thing. I'm not like particularly like honed in on any particular thing. I'm just kind of a bit of a jack of all trades for building. But Outpost 4 was a lot of fun. Probably one of my favorites. I think it was the longest outpost, which may be surprising to some considering the grandioseness of Ophanim. But I did the numbers back at Ophanim, and the Citadel was actually the longest time I'd spent working on an outpost. It was just a lot of mining, a lot of stuff. I think it was because I lost my diamonds. I got a bunch of diamonds and then I lost them. I got super upset and I was just like, I'm just going to keep going. Did that actually... Oh, I don't remember. I don't remember what happened. That's weird. Usually I do remember. But I remember losing my diamonds and being super upset about it at the Citadel, but I don't remember if I just left with like the stuff that I had left over, or if I actually went back and mined more diamonds, because that would explain why I spent so much time there. Apart from the building and the mining, because that would have taken friggin' forever to do, considering the scale of the castle and the additional tower I built. But yeah, that was probably the most ambitious outpost so far, just in terms of like that kind of stuff. I mean, Outpost 5, yeah, you could say it was ambitious because of how big it was, but I knew that I was gonna do it, and I kind of had it like set relatively from the start, and I expanded it a little bit, but I kind of knew when to quit with it. And the Citadel, I was kind of the same, but I had so many plans for the Citadel. Maybe one day. Well, I guess I don't actually have the Citadel anymore, but I could like recreate it or whatever in like a server or something and do like a new take on it. I'd love to do that with a Minecraft build. Like take one of my old bases in an old world and reinvent it. I'm going to be doing that in Renewcraft actually for my main base. I'm not going to talk about it right now, but something very exciting. If you guys have interest in an SMP that I'm a part of, then do check that out. It's not as well, it's about the same format as Journey, but without the no commentary. And it has other people. A few others. But yeah, I'm going so grossly off track. It's good though. I'm trying to keep the commentary going anyway. Trying to keep it exciting and refreshing and whatnot. All that jazz. But what would I say about Outpost 5 that I haven't already? Outpost 5, my favorite, my beloved. Ophanim, my beloved outpost, based on the biblically accurate angel, Ophanim. Or the biblically accurate version of Ophanim, which is like a bunch of rings with eyes on them. I just found it the idea is so cool. I wanted to do a sky base from almost the beginning of the world, I'm sure. A sky base, a cave base, a castle. I thought would have been really cool. I could still do a medieval village as another outpost. But yeah, there was some bucket list stuff, and I've checked off a bunch of that. And Outpost 1 was kind of just like going for that nostalgia, you know. You look at Outpost 1, if you guys go back and look at it, it looks like, something you'd see from the time. And I guess you could say that with a lot of beta builds. It's true. But that build especially, I was channeling a lot of like the nostalgia I had for the game and a lot of the old builds I remember seeing. And especially like Uno was also based on that a little bit. I'd love to do another. I'm just thinking of the Farland base. I've got ideas for it. I'm not going to talk about those either. That's super far away. But I've got some really fun ideas, and you guys are going to love it if you stick around for it, or at least come back for it at that point in the future, a few years or whatever. Yeah, no, Outpost 5, definitely my favorite so far. It was not as big of a time commitment as Citadel, but it was not far off either. It was mainly because it had a lot of very easy resources in it, and it was the first build in this journey that I actually used furnaces as like a building block, so that was interesting. Used it for like a roof design. The interior, it was to die for. It was a beautiful base. I missed that one. That's the only one I actually miss my time in. Like the Ophanim. Oh, look at that. Paradise Falls over here. Hang on, let me get a bit more clear of a view here. Pack.png looking over here. I see so much of this in Journey, but yeah, that's seriously cool. Look at that. But oh boy, yeah. Outpost 5. What is there else to say about it? Yeah, that's really all I have to say about it. 50% most Citadel was most ambitious, but Ophanim was like definitely up there in ambition. It was probably my biggest outpost I've done, regardless of the decrease in time it took to do it compared to the Citadel. both of them I think are very ambitious builds in this world, and I'm glad that I've been able to accomplish such large builds given the nature of a series of walking like this. It's nice to be able to stop and hit the brakes. And I wouldn't deny the fact that currently I am feeling a little bit, well, starting to. I'm starting to entertain the idea of an outpost at some point soon. Will it be while I'm in university? I might have to wait for like April, but I'm starting to get a bit of an itch for an outpost again, which will be nice to do. I already got my next one planned, Winter Wonderland, or as I've so aptly called it the other episode, Winter 101. Winter 101. Uh, it's just some butchering when I was trying to say it super quick, and it was unintentionally, and it just came out that way. And I was like, oh my god, that's so funny. But yeah, Winter Wonderland is the next planned outpost. It's gonna be like a wintry, everything wintry and Christmassy. Well, not so much Christmassy anymore because Christmas is already passed. That was the original plan for it, but I didn't really feel like doing the outpost in December, so it's gonna wait. Probably a little bit, and it might even be spring by the time I do it. Another out of season, just like Herebrine's Tower is kind of a Halloween themed build that I did for 1 year. So yeah, no, it's a lot of builds I've done in this world so far. 5 bases and the spawn project, not even to mention all my monuments I've done. And no one would know this, but I actually did do a lava cast, and I built a bed up to build height in Chaos Theory. That's probably one of my favorite no commentary episodes. There's an edited version. It's only like a half hour. I strongly urge anyone who just would like a goofy no commentary episode with just random crap happening in it to watch that. It is edited with only like the chaotic moments, but there is the uncut version, but it's like 5 hours, so I wouldn't watch that. But you could watch like the edited version. So much fun. Just so much randomness. It was basically just me like just slowly going like losing my marbles during just like a late night stream, and I just was just doing the most random crap in the world, and it was so much fun. I tried to replicate it when I was doing a commentary a while later. I don't remember which episode that was, but it wasn't as fun. It's best done in a no commentary, because then I'm not like trying to commentate while doing that kind of stuff, like, because the whole idea is just like, if I was commentating, then I'd have to be aware of it. But then if I'm not aware, then like it's harder to commentate while trying to do that. So yeah, it just didn't really work. And I'm glad that Chaos Theory managed to be just the absolute mess that it was. And there's that lava cast chilling in season 1. I think that was the season 1 episode. But that was probably one of my favorite highlights from season 1 of Journey. That was so much fun. Just to screw around and do like the build height cactus. I did some like leftover ideas, so I probably could find the screenshots that I did in like the kind of sequel episode or whatever, but I can't recapture the magic of that original episode. There's just, I'd have to think of a lot of different ways I could screw with the game, and I feel like I just did so much in that episode. It's hard to top. It's hard to top how a good episode like that with all the shenanigans. Speaking of shenanigans, I should talk about some of my favorite episodes. And now I did Episodic Extravaganza a while back, I think around in the Farland anniversary. So that goes into excruciating detail behind every episode, like their names and stuff, and some of my thoughts on the important ones. I'll only glaze over. I'll just talk about some of the ones I really remember. Chaos Theory is obviously one of them. Foray into Shenaniganry, episode 35. It's not as interesting as Chaos Theory, but I remember I just went to like a spawner. I chilled there for a bit, and I was just like fishing and just, I don't remember if I rode a pig that episode, but that was kind of a bit of a mini Chaos Theory, that episode. And that was just a lot of fun, just to mess around in the world a little bit, kind of entertain a bit of nonsense in the world, and just trying things I hadn't done before. I still want to do a railway at the Farlands. I still have that on a rail thing to do. Well, among other things, I got to re-earn all my achievements again, unfortunately. But on a rail, I want to get 1,000-block railway going at some point, probably at the Farlands. I don't figure I'll have the time to do that at an outpost. But yeah, I've got a lot to talk about in terms of episodes. Foreign to Shenaniganry was like my first like fun episode, I think. At least like thinking back on it, like, I still remember it now, and that one actually performed fairly well as well. That was one of my first like well-performing episodes. Well, in terms of back then, I'm sure if I looked back on it now, I'm like, oh, that's not as significant. But I think it was like a few hundred views or something, which was pretty good. And honestly, these days, if I get a few hundred views on something, I'm pretty impressed with it. Like 1,000+ views is a bit of a unicorn these days for me. But what's another episode? If you want to see some like weird like graphic shredding, like using Optifine out this far, well, not this far, but out quite a ways. What I would recommend is The Edge of Destruction. I think that was what the episode was called. I believe so. I'd have to look it up on my YouTube studio to make sure, just so I don't redirect you guys to just some random episode. The Edge. It's a reference to Doctor Who, one of the original stories from the first Doctor. Actually, fun fact. Yeah, The Edge of Destruction, episode 59. That was another one of my favorites, where I kind of showed off some of the weird oddities like the jitters and Optifine. Optifine actually causes a crazy visual bug as well, even crazier than the jitters. So if you want to know what that's a good episode to go to, I think. It's an older episode, so it's not as good quality-wise. It has a bit more technical difficulty in it. But it was still a lot of fun. Nonetheless, it was a lot of fun. But beyond that, anything else I can think of? A lot of the cherry specials were fun. Farland Anniversary has a lot of good episodes, both of them that I've done so far. I do that once a year. Last year's Farland Anniversary was crazy, but yeah, reaching Spawn, that episode, rediscovering Spawn, I think it was called. It was at like, I think I did timestamp me finding Spawn again, so you could go to that one. It's like a 9-10 hour long stream, but you can find. I have a timestamp posted in the description. If there's any like timestamps for an episode, I usually post it in the description. But yeah, like off the top of my head, I can't think of many more. I'd have to look through them. Maybe I could quickly do that and see if I could think of any other good ones I remember. Just by looking at them. Content, videos, no, playlists, Journey to the Farlands. Well, I gotta see it on my iPad. I can't even friggin' see the names. On my device. The device. All the 545 videos I've got here. Oh yeah, I can't forget about Walking to Oblivion, the one that started it all for this YouTube's. If there was no Journey Walking to Oblivion, there wouldn't have been Journey in the public eye. So yeah, can't forget about that one. Burn Baby Burn was a fun one, going to the Nether for the first time in Journey. In beta. I actually had not gone to the Nether in beta before. I'd seen the old Nether. I've been well acquainted with it, but it was kind of cool to go to it in the Journey here. And I've done it a few times since then. I don't journey in the Nether, in case anyone's like, why don't you journey in the Nether? It's because I like the overworld better. The Nether's just plain boring and it's deadly. So it's not very appealing to me. and the nether roof is not accessible. There's a bug to get up there and back down, but I'm not going to exploit the game just to do that, and it would be very boring just walking along the bedrock. I know Sav actually did another Farland journey, and I high praise to Sav for doing that. I couldn't do that. That's one thing I probably could not do, is do the nether that way. But I don't know how Sav did the journey either, so. But no, that is a whole other breed you have to be to do like another journey like that. It's so repetitive. But I could say the same for, I guess, the overworld. But I don't know. I like the shift in biomes and just the novel terrain, just the variation, like the extremeness of some certain features and that kind of thing. Yeah. Let me. Oh, my megasodes. Yeah, megasodes were kind of a weird phase of Journey because they're not like a fully fledged episode, but they're just kind of like parts of like a big episode, which is kind of just a weird thing that I tried out and I never did after I stopped doing them. I never returned to it in like a year and a half since I've stopped doing them. Probably longer than that now, nearing probably 2 years since the last megasode at this point, I'm sure. Minisodes I do more of because they're kind of fun to just do like a 10-20 minute video on Journey. On like a specific topic, like the bed's killing me, or like not killing you, but the bed's sending me back to spawn, or some weirdness I noticed with spawn, like from watching some videos on the glitch with the recurring recurring spawn chunks. Episode 41, the beginning, was when I showed off some world backups. So that episode 41 actually does have the original spawn. You guys would actually never have seen it otherwise. So if you want to see the original stuff and not before Journey to the Farlands, which is just a recreation, kind of a reenactment, then check that out. That'll be your kind of original Journey world. So that's cool. I showed off another world that was a good, like, I think 30k in or whatever. Like, so yeah, that's pretty cool. Yeah, Land. I forgot Outpost 1's called Land Before the End. That's what it's called, in case anyone was curious. I didn't mention that. I actually forgot about that. It's in my notebook. Sign language, that one was funny because I couldn't commentate. So I was using signs. I think that was the first episode I used signs, and now I just do it whenever I'm freaking lazy and don't want to talk at the end. Or when I'm talking to somebody and I don't want to end the call with them and I just want to keep talking to them while I do my outro, that kind of thing. But that was the first episode that originated from. That was when I had COVID the first time. I actually had COVID twice. Fun fact, everybody. I have had COVID 2 times. The first time was the worst. I'm pausing my game just because I gotta grab a drink. Oh, all right. I got a drink. My throat was getting a bit sore from commentating for so long. Usually it doesn't happen when I'm like talking with people, but I think I'm usually a bit more cognizant of drinking and staying hydrated. Yeah, back to the journey at hand. Do a bit of boat hopping. That's something that came from Kill a Crazy Man, actually. That was his tactic that he did to speed up the journey in the water, in the aquatic portions. Ooh. Hang on while I quickly deal with this skeleton foe. There we go. Way to go. Alright, hidey hole Nimrod. Sometimes you just gotta engage in a bullfight. One of my favorite things of old Minecraft is lefty versus righty. If any of you know that, it's a very old Minecraft kind of tradition or whatever, where you get two skeletons to fire at each other, and they it's like lefty versus righty. That's one thing I remember from like the evil SMP, which was, I think, was kind of a thing that old Minecrafters used to do. And I'm technically a veteran. I played Minecraft back then, but I didn't really do that kind of thing with like lefty righty, or a lot of those things. But that's still kind of iconic thing for me. And I just remember mobs. It's just like a very common thing with mobs that they did. It's not entirely uncommon to see. Mobs just absolutely obliterating each other. Usually it's a skeleton and another mob. Skeletons are very aggressive. And creepers are funny, they just explode, So if another mob aggravates a creeper, then it just explodes. Where did I leave off? I was going through some of my episodes. I'm doing a bit of a mini episodic extravaganza. It's not like, I did like the full episode before. I'm just like looking through them and just being like, which ones do I remember? A lot of. Yeah, newfangled bed technology was, or newfangled bed technology, I think newer. I don't remember the difference between them. But if you're willing to go back, you could figure that out. But I was kidding. That was some bed changes or whatever. I remember I actually used to gather cobblestone with my pickaxe. I used to just gather it instead of doing the hidey holes, but I found the hidey holes were a bit more fun. They're a bit easier to do than just digging like rock up all the time and digging up dirt and stuff. It's a bit more organic, and I'm all for the organics, as you know from what I said earlier in the episode. Yeah, there's some fun facts. Yeah, Lost Footage is a fun mini-sode if you want to check it out. All the mini-sodes are fun. The one where I do like my spawn thing where I was building out like however far out that the spawn chunk recurrence was that I found. I built something there and it appeared at spawn. And I was messing around in kind of beta's equivalent of creative mode with like all the items mod or whatever. You guys, I guess, would know it as just enough items these days. I think JEI is what it's called now, because it's been like a new mod's been made or whatever, or whatever the story is. But yeah, Lost Footage is a good one if you want to see some stuff that I recorded from the early days of the journey. That's all that remains from that 100 days I've always talked about. Oh, yeah, man's best friend. How can I talk about Journey without talking about my dogs? Ah, yes. I've had, I think, 5 pet wolves in this game, and they've all died tragically, and I vowed not to have another dog since. I did that before, but I did get another dog, but this time I'm fairly serious about that. It took a viewer a lot of convincing me to actually get a pet wolf, and it ended poorly. Let me just say, the most recent one I had, which is quite a good while ago now, well over 100, probably nearing 200 now, episodes ago. At this point, well, maybe not quite, but yeah, I like to sound a bit more extravagant maybe than it sounds, but it was quite a while ago anyway. But my first dog was around the 300,000 block mark, very early in the journey. It probably came from watching Kurt get his dogs and stuff, his pet wolves, and I was like, I should get a pet wolf in Journey. Wolves are cool, but like the mob AI in beta, the worst mob AI I've seen in a lot of Minecraft. Mobs do very questionable things, and when it's a hostile mob, it's not bad. It's not, it's not a very questionable thing. I mean, it is a little questionable, but it's not like a very big effect on you. It's more just like you get to laugh at their misfortune or whatever. Sounds mean, but it is the enemies of the game. Um, but when it happens to like a dog or whatever, like something that you care about, oh yeah, it was rough. My first dog simply, I don't remember what happened to the dog. It must have died because I didn't keep track of the tail. It was before I knew that you actually had to look at the tail to see what level of health they had. I don't remember. It might have taken the first two dogs actually before I realized that too, which is even more sad. But yeah, the first dog, something happened to Stewie, I think was my first dog, Stewie. Stewart. No, wait, no, it was no, Stewart wasn't my first. It was old Joseph was my first pet dog, Joseph. If you know Joestar from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure, that's what the name's based off of. That's why it's called Old Joseph, because it's old Joseph from Stardust Crusaders. But yeah, that was my first pet dog, and old Joseph. Something happened to old Joseph, and I went looking for him, like I do. And yeah, that's just it's the worst. It's the worst thing ever in a Minecraft save when you have to go and look for like your lost dog, and you just like dread them like not being with you. It was awful, awful when that happens. I mean, not like the kind of person that like feels bad about like the pixels or whatever. But you know, when you had them around with you for a while, you kind of get a bit attached to the pixels. You know, you get a bit of attachment. Just like that like pet rock thing or whatever. Like the pet rock doesn't have any emotions, but people are so attached to their pet rock or whatever. But yeah, that was my first dog, and then the second one, I I accidentally hit with my pickaxe or something, and it like jumped into a ravine or whatever. Like well, not ravine because ravines don't exist in beta. That's actually one of the key giveaways of the spawn chunk recurrence, because when I made this world, I had a ravine mod, this season 2 world. So yeah, that would explain why there was a ravine at spawn, and I had since removed it because I was seeing spawn again. But no, he fell into some kind of cave and died, and that was dreadful as well. And I built graves for all the dogs as well. I got screenshots of all the graves lying around somewhere, so I'll show them in my screenshot episode I do at some point in the future. I'll save that for probably closer to the Farlands, I'm guessing. As I've got hundreds of screenshots, I'm sure I could go through and show you guys. Oh, that'll take a long time, I'm sure. Oh, fell into a cave. Beautiful. As long as it wasn't into lava, that's all that matters to everybody. What a time though. Yeah, second dog I had was called Frederick, yeah, as per one of the new craft members' requests back in the day. That's how old these servers are, even back then. Yeah, I know. Well, it's only a few years ago now, but it feels like forever ago for me now. So much has happened since then. It was like so much has happened. Really, no, honestly, through all the friggin' fluff and all that. But yes, I eventually did in the first like dog I had in series was called Stewie. I think around 197, I think, until like 100 and I don't remember. It was around 20 episodes though that I had Stewie, and that was pretty good. That was probably the longest I'd ever had a pet dog in this save. And you gotta realize, like, I was like uploading one episode a day, or not a day, or every, you know, consistently inconsistent, as I called it, releasing episodes in that kind of rate. That was pretty good for me. Stewie lasted a while, and I actually lost Stewie a few times, and I actually went through the favor of finding the stream so I could find where Stewie where I set him down or whatever and forgot to sit him back up or stand him back up to follow me. That's most often the case as to why my dogs go missing. Maybe it could be the reason why Stewie went missing as well. Stewie could have just been sitting somewhere. Although, ever since the world reset, Stewie's just long gone now. Oh no. Even though Stewie was still out there, or on my old Joseph. But yeah, Stewie just went missing. I don't know what happened to Stewie, unfortunately. So after around that 20 episodes that I had him, he went missing, and I could never find him. I looked for as long as I could. You could go and back and actually see the disparity. Well, I wasn't actually desperate, but you could see I was going back and forth, being is he here? Is he here? Is he, wasn't actually going crazy about it, but I cared about Stuart. I care about my dogs in Minecraft, as you should. And I cared well for Stewie and all the dogs after Stewie. I recognized the tail thing, which I actually never knew before. I've had pet dogs in Minecraft, and I feel like I've neglected any of them that have taken damage in the past because I always just kind of fed them randomly. I didn't realize the tail was the big indicator, and I was like, oh, that's really cool. But also, all my old dogs resent me now, probably. Yeah, Stewie went missing. Probably my favorite pet dog I've had, and that could be seen in my dog after Stuart, which was Stuart the Second. And Stuart the Second, well, this one's probably the most tragic out of all of them. Oh, because it was the most exciting miracle, and then it turned into the worst tragedy. So what happened with like I said, the last dog I had in this world was a while ago, probably over 100 episodes ago now. A viewer convinced me, they profusely wanted me to get a dog, and I was like, okay, I'll get a dog, but don't expect me to not complain about it. They're great. I like having pet dogs in Journey, but they are something to keep in mind. You gotta be aware of them. I can't just be doing this kind of stuff. They jump and take damage and stuff. You just gotta be much more wary, and it was just slowing down the journey. And I had to take food cooking breaks and stuff for the dog. It was good, but it became a bit of a hassle after a while. A bit of a weight I was dragging along with me, and as much as I would have loved to have brought a dog to the Farlands, it just wasn't meant to be, as it became proven in that time. But I did, like I said, I did get Stuart the Second after being convinced by a viewer, and Stuart the Second lasted not nearly as long as Stuart the First. Around the time of Stuart's death, Stuart actually got a clone. I think it was actually the very same episode where Stuart got a clone. Stuart the Second got a clone, and I called it the clone of Stuart the Second because I didn't even have time to name it before they both died. It was because I was autopiloting, and I water bucketed down a cliff. Now, this is all well and good because, it was something I'd done many, many times in the journey before. And I figured the dogs would just teleport. Well, the dogs did not teleport, everybody. They fell off the cliff. And it was not simply one of those little hills you run into occasionally. No, it was like an 80-block tall hill. And those dogs went flying. I will tell you, and it was not a pretty sight for me. And I built their graves right at the bottom of that hill, right where they splatted. Vulgar language, I know. But yeah, it was tragic. That was actually a very it was not difficult, but it was just tragic. And I just remember when I gave that speech. Why, it was unscripted, of course. I don't script any of my stuff in Journey or my series at all, usually, unless it's a build or something. But I just remember just how like well, I say devastated, but I wasn't like realistically devastated. I just meant like more like in the sense of like the game. You get a little bit involved in the game that way. I mean, who wouldn't? I'm usually someone who's like kind of impartial and all that, but no, that actually was like, wow, that was tough. That was tough to deal with. And then I just kind of was like, yeah, never again, never again. I'm not doing that. That was just so tragic, and it's not something I'm willing to deal with any further as a possibility. So yeah, that was the kind of end to my arc of dogs. So yeah, that's probably the reason why I don't have a dog following me in the journey at this stage, because I just realized that's trouble for me. I think the episode in question was Far Gone to the Farlands or whatever. Something like that, where I basically was talking about how I was just so consumed by the Farlands that I just let the lives of so many pet wolves go. Maybe not so by purpose, but there was some truth in that. That I just kind of was like, yeah, I don't want to bring them along for my my crusade to the Farlands or whatever. My journey, my adventure, expedition. So yeah, that was kind of the end of that kind of stage of the journey. And I recently ended a leg of the journey, or one of the big legs of the journey, which was kind of at the end of August with the end of Farland anniversary. And that was kind of the end of like my mass walking, like mass walking, like walking like every day pretty much, while trying to, and walking a lot. That was kind of my vibe last year, from like basically from the end of January until August. That was what I was doing. So that's why last year is such high regard for me, because so much happened. I did so much journey, and I did so many series. I think that's really when the channel popped off, because at the beginning of last year, let me give you guys some statistics here, just so you guys have the knowledge, because you can't see this otherwise unless you find some kind of thing for it. Let me quickly go and take a look-see here. My subscribers, I probably need to check the one in the YouTube here that I have for the bottom left there. That same one. That's the subscriber count. It's live also. That's why I have it there, so you guys can see. And you can look back on old videos, at least if I've had it in there, then yeah, you'll see it. Let me take a looky-loo here. Looky-loo. Live count 994. Oh yeah. 2024, I guess. Yeah, beginning of 2024. I just barely broke 300 or 400 subscribers, and I ended the year at 960. I don't think I can do 2023. Not last 365 days. I'll do lifetime, just to give you guys a reference. So at the beginning of 2023, okay, everybody, here's what I mean by the journey. It was super, like the last few years have been so good for the channel. January 1st, 2023, I was at 23 subscribers. I ended 2023 with around 400. And then I went, of course I went 900 and something. And this year so far, I was at 966, and now I'm at 980 or 994. So yeah, the channel has just been in a really good place, and I'm really thankful for it. Endlessly, whatever people say, I don't remember what the exact thing. I forever thankful for all the attention and love and all that jazz and goodness. Well, that was a monster of a discussion. I don't. Do I have any more to really dote on for Journey? I guess I can move on from Journey now. I feel like that's probably enough. If you guys have any further questions, please feel free to post them into the comments. Um, I feel like that about captures the essence of the Journey. Journey was just, it's such a huge thing for this channel. It's the real, like I said at the beginning, it's the bread and butter. It's what got me here to 1,000 subs. It is. If there wasn't any Journey, I would be a far cry from 1,000 subs, that's for sure. Because even regardless of Journey, I would not have had series that would have been nearly as long, because a lot of my worlds just had troubles outside of my own commitments to them. I had excellent commitments to a lot of worlds, but the people just, it wasn't the right thing with the people. People just stopped playing, or it wasn't the right people. You know, we all played, but we didn't really get along, or that kind of thing. It didn't really mesh fully. A lot of that. But I'm not gonna continue talking about the SMPs anymore. I've talked about that in the Newcraft episode most recently. Well, I've talked about it well after that, but that's like a very good example of an episode. So yeah, go check that out if you want more info. I doubt many of you guys are interested in the SMPs from what I've seen. So I'll kind of talk about the other stuff now that's helped shape the channel as well. Because yeah, Journey might have shaped the channel in many ways that a lot of stuff on my channel could not have. There is some other things, some other little gems that I can talk about for series. I've talked about my extensive list of series before. Last year was also a big year for streams and stuff. I was trying out a lot of different games, and I still am this year even. I'm continuing that trend. But last year, I think I had well over a dozen brand new series that I did. And most of them just kind of come and go, and I'm okay with that, you know? I'm fine with that. That's not the end of the world kind of thing. It's not a deal breaker for me if you know, something doesn't go very well. If it doesn't perform on YouTube, it's not a deal breaker. I already discussed that kind of philosophy stuff already about my stuff. So yeah, what other stuff has really impacted the channel beyond Journey? Because Journey has some episodes that have reached the thousands, and it's for the most part had episodes with like 100, 200 views on average, which is pretty good, considering a lot of my episodes are just kind of the same thing in principle. So it's interesting for me. And both the commentary and no commentary seem to perform relatively the same, if anyone's curious. I know people have asked about it in the past, so they both actually perform about the same, in case anyone is curious. Watch time, I'm not quite as sure. I'd have to take a look on that, do a bit more looking into. Just gotta take my hands off the keyboard so I can open this pop real quick, soda or whatever you call it. From where you're from, I call it pop. We call it pop from Canada. Where I'm from. I only mention that because Cherry made fun of me. As Cherry does, because she's American. Yeah, no, it's all good. All in jest anyway. I don't know why my arm's doing that. My arm's broken. I must have broken my arm. I don't see my arm very much actually in Journey. Mostly my hotbar's full. That's another thing, the hotbar shuffles a lot. Anyway, what else has impacted the channel on a similar level to Journey? I kind of went off on tangents and stuff there. But I think the biggest, most obvious one to me is Better Than Adventure. It's one I've mentioned time and time again. It was a series that was just a short burst of energy. Same thing with old school Minecraft. Funnily enough, all old Minecraft related. I can't dodge the allegations of being an old Minecraft channel. For as much as I've been doing stuff in like new other games and more recent versions of Minecraft, that just doesn't perform as well as the old Minecraft. There's just a certain vibe to it that just the algorithm likes from my channel, it seems, and people you guys like. That's what I've gathered. Some things are just better left to chance. Because I've tried with certain things, and it just seems like you just have to hit the right place at the right time, or just be very strategic about it. Yeah, there's a bit of skill involved, but a lot of it is just chance, you know? And I just happened to have a good year last year because I was just putting so much effort into the streaming and managed to make a few bangers of series this last year. But yeah, Better Than Adventure. Oh, that was a very popular series for people, and it was a lot of fun actually. I talked about it recently, and I was like, wow, you know, I wasn't really enjoying it, but that was more towards the end. I was kind of just like, eh. I feel like it was just the way I was doing it. I wasn't doing enough like bulk recording. I was just doing like the 30-minute sessions, and that was just not. I don't like to play that little. If I can only play that much, that's another thing. But if I have the free time to be able to play more, then I want to record more, and that's usually why I do like 2-hour streams or multi-hour instead of like 30 or 20 minutes. Usually my edited episodes are more like that, or in the case of the Newcraft this year, it was like 40-minute episodes because it was a lot of stuff I was trying to get into a single episode. But yeah, that was maybe partially the reason, and I started to do that towards the end, and yeah, I could have done it from the beginning, but I didn't really think of it. I was just kind of entertaining the idea of doing it that way, just so I didn't have to worry about scheduling and all that, like episodes moving about, and I'm not, reading people's comments or that kind of thing soon enough and taking them into account. But that series was great. I think my most popular, one of my most popular things, was Better Than Adventure, and it was just hit after hit, episode after episode. It kept getting like views and so much attention, and it was great, and I loved that series, and it was in its peak. And then, as like I said, with all those issues, once the viewership dropped, that was kind of when I lost interest altogether. That was kind of the nail in the coffin. Like I said, it's secondary, and I wasn't really enjoying it anymore, and I was more so just doing it because I was liking all the attention, I think, for a while. That's an example of like something going well, like right off the top, kind of right off the hop, and it just didn't end up being my thing in the end, and so be it. And me and Devin did try to revive it, and I think we could revive it, but Devin just has a lot of connection issues and he couldn't stream it. So if I were to do it again, it'd probably just be me. Because like I said, Devin just has been having a lot of trouble with his computer, so he's just been playing his PlayStation for the most part now. For at least, and he's been he's stepped out of the limelight for like the streaming and recording for things. I think he's sticking to streaming. I don't know. He was kind of debating that because he likes recording as well. Anyway, I'm not talking about Devin. I'm not gonna go off too much on Devin. But yeah, I've been saying yeah a lot today. I'm just trying to keep the commentary going and interesting. I'm surprised I've managed to make it 2 hours on my own. That's pretty wild. Usually I don't, but like I said, if I give myself enough of a topic, like today I was just going over as much as I could about the history, then yeah, you can get something pretty good. Yeah, Better Than Adventure. What can I say about that? It's just it was a great series in its prime. I wish I could have enjoyed it more to do like a lot more episodes out of it, but some things don't need to be milked for like 50, 100 episodes. Journey, of course, is another thing. It's me trying to reach this goal, but sometimes you don't want to beat the dead horse too much. That's what I was kind of worrying about with Renewcraft. and oftentimes a lot of SMPs because they're a lot more creatively involved in, say, Journey. So it's a little bit more difficult, I'd say, keeping them around for a while. And that's what been one of my bucket list goals, is to have a series like that be around for like more like 50 episodes, because I'm more so curious just to see what a series like that would be like around 25, 50 episodes, maybe even more than that if I'm lucky. But that's always just been more of like a food for thought thing. Better Than Adventure actually managed to get like 10 episodes, so that was pretty good. Uh, and people didn't really beg, ask for more. Well, I was gonna say beg for more, but I didn't want to make it sound that desperate. People are not desperate. The only series that people wanted more of was Silver Age, but Silver Age was kind of a different one. It was more like in release Minecraft, and I don't think it was as recognized as, say, Better Than Adventure. And then Old School Minecraft was another one. Me and Devin played that together, and honestly, I could see myself doing something like that again with Modern Beta, if you guys would want to see that. I mean, I'm 2 hours in and I'm asking for input on things, so I doubt anyone's going to see it and respond to it. But if that's something that's up your alley, that's a beta server. It's kind of like a thing that meets in the middle, You can play it on modern Minecraft, and apparently now you can play it actually on beta 1.7.3. So that's really cool. So it's kind of like a modified version of beta Minecraft. So I could always try that out with Devin and do a trial run and see how that goes in the future. I don't know about right now with the server and stuff, but I'm sure he'd be interested in that, because he actually pitched it to me when he was trying it himself. He was like, yeah, we should do something. You should join me. And I'm like, it was just around that time. I just wasn't really feeling it, but there's always possibility. But no, that was also another thing that went really well, was me and Devin just playing on an old Minecraft server, OSM. And that was a lot of fun. We tried reviving that one too. I've tried reviving a lot of things. I'm one for reviving some of my best things, just to try and see if I can recapture it. But usually it doesn't go as well. Like me and Devin, like we could have made it work going back to it in a new area, but it just didn't really. I don't know. I think we just ended up doing other stuff that kind of overridden it anyway. So yeah, it just didn't really end up working out. But yeah, there's no real reason why I can't do something like that in the future, and it doesn't, at least get some attention, because I'm sure if I did some more old Minecraft like that. I tried doing like a beta series last year, but that didn't really get much attention. I feel like there wasn't much distinguishing it. It just felt like any other beta thing, though, to be fair. I feel like since a larger portion of the community is into old Minecraft, it's a little bit difficult to stand out in the old Minecraft as well, honestly. Just like it would be in like modern Minecraft. I guess it's not too hard if you've got a world for a while, like Journey, for example. That this is this is an example of something I put so much effort into and people recognize. That's true with any person who's probably journeyed to the Farlands on varying levels. I'm gonna have a drink of my pop. I'm gonna take a break in a bit. I might end the commentary here for today. Well, not here, but at the end of the day, in a second here. Do I want to end the episode? I was aiming to go for more of a marathon style, but it's getting pretty late and I'm getting pretty tired. So I might just pick this up tomorrow after I've moved a bunch of stuff around. After done a bunch of work and things. So I'll just keep prattling on for another few minutes. Go and take a quick 15-minute break just to chill for a bit, and then come back. Or no, actually no. I'm just gonna end the episode. Yeah, that's what I was gonna do. It's a lot. 2-hour commentary is a lot. That's why I can't go for a super long period of time. If I was talking with people, it's another thing. I can go for hours upon end and not really, have a second thought of it. But this is like my recognition of 1,000 subscribers. If tomorrow I don't feel like doing a commentary, no one joins, then happy 1,000 subscribers. This is kind of it doesn't say it, but yeah. I'll probably do another stream, and then I'll do a bit more commentary around then. I might even see if I can bring someone on in my next stream. I wanted to do this stream tonight because I knew that if I got this stream out there, then who knows, maybe it'll be 1,000 before I wake up or that kind of thing, and then I'll just be like, whoa, it's go time on the plans with Devin for the server. And that'll be kind of my last big episode on a Renew Craft, I'm sure, for a while. Or maybe even my last episode for a good while. Oops, sorry. Sneezies. I probably shouldn't be drinking pop this late. I'll probably stay up too late. I'm hardly that far into the pop, so I'll probably just finish here with that. Right with the episode. Oh, there goes the sun. There goes the planet, as I said, my Minecraft Legends video game spotlight. That's another fun thing, is the spotlights. I've got so many series that were fun. I mean, I'm still doing video game spotlights too. That's like a long time series, just because it's my excuse to play random games and not make them into series. But anyway, I'm gonna leave before I get too tired and ramble into oblivion. Yeah, you said it right there, ramble into oblivion. But yeah, thank you guys though so much for tuning in to this episode. Perhaps the last pre-1,000 subscriber episode, unless next one is kind of a bit of a capping it off kind of thing. But yeah, no, thank you guys, and I will see you guys in the next one. All right, goodbye, peace.